Thank you for allowing us to be here.
You're welcome.
It's quite something to just sit and watch for quite some time.
Yeah, this is actually where I don't actually have an office here. I either walk the floor or I hold meetings in this room.
Okay.
This room allows me to see what's going on with production while I'm holding meetings.
Is there one particular production that you focus on when you're here, or that you sort of your eyes always go to, or you actually walk over to?
Well, this is the end of line that we're seeing here. So if cars aren't moving, that means there's some blockage upstream, and then I can go and see what that blockage is. So I think we might be on a break right now, but if vehicle end of line is not moving, that means there's something upstream that's wrong.
Got it. Well, it's been amazing just to walk around the facility a bit and get a sense for the size. All right, you just finished your annual meeting. You took a lot of questions from a very eager audience. I feel like most of it you've shared before, but there was some news, and I want to start there. Advertising. You got a big applause. You didn't sound like you were going to advertise that much, but you did at least seem to open the way to saying, okay, we might consider doing some advertising. Why?
Well, I mean, I believe in listening to shareholders, and I actually was surprised by the level of enthusiasm for advertising, since we have not historically done that. But there perhaps is some good logic to it in that if we're simply sending out information via, say, the Tesla Twitter account or my Twitter account, we're somewhat preaching to the converted, and not reaching people that are not already convinced, essentially. So I think they probably have a good point. I think it's worth a try, and we'll see. We'll see how effective.
Do you have any idea how you'd like to try it, or what that would involve?
Well, I mean, I have some general thoughts about advertising. That if advertising is informative and entertaining, then it can start to approach content. So I think sometimes advertising is perhaps not informative, or perhaps in some cases a bit misleading. And in fact, we've lost some advertisers on Twitter because community notes applies to advertising too. And so if somebody advertises something that isn't perhaps a bit inaccurate, then it gets community noted, and then they get mad and stop advertising. But we care enough about the truth that we're willing to give up advertising dollars on Twitter, even if in order to have the least inaccurate source of information.
And I want to talk about that, but I want to obviously spend some time on Tesla. Again, back to ads, though. I mean, am I going to start to see Tesla ads during the NFL broadcast on a given Sunday, Monday, Thursday? The NFL's always on.
Well, bear in mind, I mean, I only just agreed to it, so it's not like I have a fully formed strategy.
Okay. Well, how much time does go into when you think about these things? I mean, was it something you decided to do up on stage, or at least did you know coming in, I may, if this comes up, that I may go there?
No, I mean, the questions are not scripted in any way.
Right.
So
in that moment, you just said, all right, we'll do some ads.
That's right.
So we're only like 20 minutes later, and I'm asking you detailed questions. You don't have any answers, I guess.
I'm not sure what the most effective thing is, except that, like I said, I believe that advertising should be informative about a product. It should be ideally aesthetically pleasing. It should be beautiful. It should have some artistic element to it, and it should be something that you don't regret watching after it's done. And I think if advertising fits those criteria, that it starts to approach content, and that you want advertising that is as close to content as possible, such that you don't regret the time you spent watching it.
Mm-hmm. But you did say something as well, which is that you've been preaching to the converted. You mentioned a few statistics, for example, about safety, about price during the meeting that may not be fully understood by the general auto buying public at large.
So a lot of people still think Teslas are super expensive because we did start out with an expensive sports car, then like a slightly less expensive sedan and SUV. But now we're at the point where the starting price of a Tesla is actually below the average selling price of a car in the United States. So Teslas are actually much more affordable than people realize. And so we should just make sure people at least know that.
Right.
And that Tesla is also the safest cars on the road in so many ways that people, actually a lot of people at Tesla don't even know. sort of the cabin overheat protection, for example, or the fact that we continuously update the automatic emergency braking software and the way the airbags deploy. So we look at an accident and we say, is there anything we could do from a software standpoint to improve the cars that are already on the road? And then what can we update in the design to improve safety? I think that the statistics speak for themselves. This is not simply a matter of opinion. It's statistically safer than anything else.